Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are with Suryasikha Ray. She has cleared WBJS 2023 with rank 5. Congratulations, Surya, and
Thank you
welcome.
so much, ma'am.
Uh, Welcome, Suryasikha, and we are very privileged. We are feeling privileged, honored, proud to have you today with us in this live session. Hope all the aspirants who will be coming live with us learn a lot from your experiences, which you will be sharing with us. So, firstly, I would like to ask you, Surya, how are you feeling?
Ma'am, I am feeling very happy. I have been trying for this since the past 3 years, and finally the dream has come true. So it is a very, very happy time for me. And all my gratitude to you, Team Losico, for helping me out during my preparation.
Thank you so much, Surya. Also, our viewers would like to know, I'm sure they would like to know that from where did you complete your LLB and your, if any other qualification you have related with law.
Yes, ma'am. I did my LLB from Department of Law, Calcutta University, and my LLM also from the same institution. I completed LLB in 21 and LLM in 23.
Oh, that's really nice. And Surya, what did you do? Like, what was your field in your LLM?
Sorry, ma'am.
What was your specialization?
Ma'am, in LLM, my specialization was crime and tort.
Nice, nice. And how did you plan to take up law and then come to judiciary, Surya?
Ma'am, initially, when I was in school, I liked social sciences more than mathematics and general science, so I wanted to go to some humanities field. And in my family, there is no lawyer right now. I did not have any mentor in the house, but from my mother and my maternal grandfather, I heard that one of our ancestors was a very established advocate of the Calcutta High Court, and they wanted someone to keep the legacy alive, one of the descendants to come to the profession. So accordingly, I chose law. And then in my university, I met many seniors who were preparing for judiciary. I saw them preparing and then cracking. So seeing them, I felt very inspired that one day I can also go to that chair and be like them.
So when did you start your preparation for WBJS, Surya?
Ma'am, in 2021, after my graduation, mid of 2021.
Okay, and how was it? Like, what was your strategy? We all want to know that magic strategy because you have cleared WJS and that too with such a good rank. So we want to know in detail how did you prepare for pre and how did you prepare for mains?
Yes, ma'am, will be happy to help. So basically, during my LLB, as I said, many of my seniors attempted judiciary, they cracked as well. So they advised me to study all the semester subjects thoroughly. They said that don't do select study for semesters. Although in semesters, many people don't cover all topics, even then you can get a decent score. But if you are a judiciary aspirant, they always told me that do everything that is there in your law subjects, do not leave anything behind, keep revising, do not forget things once the semesters are over. So that way I tried to have a good knowledge and conceptual clarity of law by the time I completed LLB. And after that I focused only on judiciary. For judiciary I referred to the past question papers of West Bengal. There is a book available of 30 years past year papers, so that one I did. I solved all the questions, and from there, more or less, you will understand what the important topics are, and you will see the same kind of questions or questions from the same areas. in your year as well. So that I did. For preliminary, I had to study very thoroughly, like every provision, every ingredient, the illustrations, because some questions are asked which involve very minute details, and the options are also very close. There is negative marking. So that I followed. I referred to Lawsico's notes in the Lord of the Judiciary course. That is a very concise way of writing answers. The PDFs are very well planned, and even the current affairs PDFs of Lawsico have also been of immense help. I referred only to those before exams because GK was not my strong point. But for law, mostly I studied everything from the textbook first and then the past year questions. That should suffice. And if possible, just get your I'm telling this to the aspirants, if possible, get your answers checked by a mentor or someone who has cracked. So if the answer writing skills are good, you will score good marks in mains. And interview has only 100 marks. So in mains, if you have a lot of marks, then you are more or less safe before interview.
So past year question papers are very important to solve, Surya. This is what you suggest to the aspirants also, right?
Yes, ma'am, because judiciary questions are a bit different from college level questions. So if one goes through the past papers, they will know that what kind of questions are asked and what kind of things we have to include in the answer. For that, one can refer to past year papers and even mock papers. Losico's mock tests were quite good, the mock papers of prelims and mains. So if one can go for some mock test series, that will also help to write and also to manage time during the exam in the hall.
Okay. Also, I would like to tell all the live viewers that if they have any question to Surya Sikha, they can just put it in the chat box and we will be taking up the questions at the end of the session. Okay. Surya, can you tell me the syllabus and the way WBJS is conducted in detail? Like, what are the
Yes,
stages?
ma'am.
What is the syllabus in each stage?
Yes, ma'am. There are three stages like all other states: preliminary, mains, and interview. In preliminary, the syllabus comprises of English, general knowledge, and current affairs. And then among law papers, we have constitution, limitation, CPC, CRPC, IPC, evidence, contract tort, Hindu law, Muslim law. These are there in preliminary. You can see the marks division in the website. Usually it remains same. If anything changes, they will notify. Like some people think that this time the new criminal laws can be introduced. PSC has not notified anything yet. If any change comes, they will hopefully say. And in mains, the compulsory papers are English. In the second language, we have options, any one between Bangla, Hindi, Nepali, Santhali. These are the options available. So any one has to be chosen. And there is one paper on GK and current affairs, and the rest are law papers. We had CPC, CRPC, IPC, evidence, contract tort, and transfer of property act as compulsory papers. And three more optional papers have to be chosen. I chose Hindu law, Muslim law, and partnership act. These three were my optionals. And in the interview, anything can be asked, like apart from law, you can get personal questions, general questions, general knowledge based questions, even law questions. I got some which were from other law subjects which were not in the main syllabus. So in interview, they can ask anything, but nothing to worry. They are only checking the personality. So in the interview stage, if one doesn't know anything, one should just be honest and admit that I can't recall. Shouldn't be a problem. But for mains, I would say that please have very thorough preparation of the law papers so that you can score good marks in mains. That is very important. If you're ahead of others in mains, you will have a good chance of sailing through in the interview as well.
Thank you, Surya. And coming to the interview part. Coming to the interview part, I want to know everything in detail because I guess everyone would want to know this. Everyone is curious about interviews. So, how many panelists were there in WBJS, and what all questions did they ask you, and for how much time? What was the duration of your interview, Surya?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I was not carrying a watch, but I think approximately 15 to 20 minutes time was given to me. Some people had a bit lesser time or a bit more. On an average, you can consider it to be 15 to 20 minutes. And there were three panelists. One of them was Honorable Justice Topobroto Chakraborty of the Calcutta High Court. Another individual was the current Judicial Secretary of the state of West Bengal, and the third panelist was the Honorable Chairperson of Public Service Commission West Bengal. Ma'am, should I share the questions as well?
Yes, Surya. We would like to know what all questions did they ask you in the interview.
Yes, ma'am, definitely. I am sharing all the questions that I can recall. So, firstly, they tried to pacify me because I was very nervous, and they were asking personal questions initially so that, I don't feel nervous anymore. I was asked my name, where am I from? They asked me to introduce myself, and then why did I take up law, the question that you just asked. And I was also asked about my college, my current dean, who is the current dean here. So some personal questions of this kind was asked, and when I was not much nervous anymore, they started asking about the law questions. So since I had criminal law in LLM, I got criminal law based questions like what is anticipatory bail, when is anticipatory bail barred, which is there in section 438(4), and in some special acts. Anticipatory bail doesn't happen, like in SCST, Prevention of Atrocities Act. No anticipatory bail happens. So these things they wanted to hear from me. They asked me about what is statutory bail, under which fundamental right do we get statutory bail. So statutory bail is given in section 167, that 90 days 60 days concept, and it is based on the right to life and personal liberty under article 21 of the constitution, that if investigation is not completed within a certain number of days, one cannot be detained anymore in custody. So these questions were asked. They asked me evidence based questions like section 27 of evidence, what part of the accused person's statement can be taken into consideration, uh, and then what is burden of proof, what is onus of proof, in which chapter is it enumerated. These things were asked from evidence. Criminal law, they asked me about the theories of crime, the theories of punishment. These were asked because I had criminal law in LLM, and in LLM we have theoretical aspects and jurisprudential aspects of the law. So, other than the conventional IPC CRPC questions, they asked these as well, that what did Lombroso say, what is deterrent theory. There is one theory where the criminal is not fully punished, that person is changed so that he can become a proper member of the society again. What is it called? It is the reformative theory. And the rehabilitation theory applies in juvenile justice act. For juveniles, we have a rehabilitative theory of punishment. They don't undergo the conventional sentences which adult convicts go through. So these questions were put. I got one tough question, that what is Benami transaction and why do you think that people do Benami transaction? At first, I just said tax evasion and similar things, and then they said, tell me with reference to the Land Reforms Act. So basically, in the Land Reforms Act of West Bengal, there is a particular ceiling beyond which a Bargadar cannot hold land anymore. So many people want to exceed that ceiling, but they cannot take any more property in their name, and that time they try to take that property in the name of some other person. So this was quite a tough question, I would say, because Land Reforms Act and Binami transaction is not even there in the syllabus of mains. and I did not even know. I told as much as I could recall, and the Honorable Justice explained it to me very well. In this answer, I could not satisfy him, but he explained the entire concept to me, asked me that, did you understand now? I said, yes, sir, thank you. So this was done. And in personal law, some succession based questions were asked, like in Indian Succession Act, what is the meaning of codicil, will, probate, these things were asked. And in Muslim law, I was asked about the triple talaq. What is triple talaq? Is it constitutional anymore? I had to tell about the Sharabanu judgment, and then the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Act 2019, which is criminalized a Muslim law. At that time only, I said that the punishment is given because it has a deterrent effect, and then he asked me about the theories of crime. So these were the law questions. As far as I can recall, no other law questions were asked. Rest were all general questions, like about myself, my background, my school, college, these things. These I could answer. Just the Benami transaction answer, I couldn't answer it fully. But the justice was very kind. He helped me out and explained it to me. I had a good interview experience. People are usually scared of the interview, but they are very nice and amicable. It won't be a problem.
Thank you, Surya. That was a very detailed uh, thing about the interview. I am hoping that all the aspirants will learn a lot of things from your interview whenever they see it in future or today. And to all the live viewers, I would like to tell you that all your questions will be taken at the end of the session. So please stay tuned with us. Surya, I want to ask you, how early should one start preparing and how much time did it take uh, to complete the judiciary syllabus in your case?
Yes, ma'am. In West Bengal, I think 1 year is sufficient. In our batch, the exam got a little delayed, but I think 1 year is enough. Like 8 to 10 months is sufficient to cover the whole syllabus, and the rest 1 or 2 months one can revise. Almost 1 year is fine. I don't think one needs more time than that.
And what was your strategy for for the mains? For the mains, you have already told us, but since you have got like such a good rank, so your mains paper really went well. We can make it out from that. So can you share some tips and strategies to the viewers?
Yes, ma'am, definitely. My preparation was primarily focused on mains because I knew that in prelims I have to just get the cutoff. Even if I don't score very high, it will not be a problem. But in mains, I had to score high because in interview it is unpredictable what questions will be asked. Like I did not know that I will get land reforms and Benami transaction questions. So if I knew, I would study. So interview is beyond our control. That 100 marks depends on what they want to ask and if we can recall it at that moment. But the rest 1100 marks means is totally in our hands. If we are very well versed with law, we can get a good mark in mains. And if someone is scoring well in mains, they will definitely not do very bad in interview. So that person will have a good chance of qualifying. That is why I wanted to focus primarily on mains only. Prelims I did for the last 1 or 2 months, but my preparation was mains centric. So basically, I studied all my law subjects thoroughly in my LLB days. I had the past papers at that time only. I tried to jot down the important points and what answer am I going to write for which question. These things I figured out so that after LLB I can only revise, keep on revising the same thing over and over again. So basically, people think that judiciary syllabus is very vast and you cannot complete on time. It is not like that. You definitely can. You just need a proper strategy, and that strategy, I would say, to start with, you have to study everything. Like for the first time when you're studying a subject in life, you have to study everything, but then you will see that all the areas are not uh, relevant for the mains. Like from every area you will not get questions, so you don't need to give equal amount of time to every chapter or every section, you will understand which are the main portions if you go through the past 30-year papers. More or less questions are, or at least topics are repeated, like the important topics come very often. So if even if you don't get exactly same questions, you will get questions from the same topic. So from the past 30-year papers, you can shortlist the important topics and see exactly what questions were asked, and then you can start preparing answers. Like writing long answers is not possible for so many subjects, so many questions, but at least if you just jot down the important points or highlight in your book and go through that over and over again, I think you can do it. And writing skills is very important because everyone is going to study the same set of laws and everyone will know the Bear Act, illustrations, everything. So writing skill is important. I try to give a natural flow to my answers. Like instead of just writing what is there in the Bear Act, I tried to convince the examiner through my answer that I have understood the law. I gave a small introduction and then which section says what are the ingredients. I explained in my own language, added illustrations, case laws, as much as I could remember, and then I wrapped up in a nice conclusion so that the examiner gets a very good impression. In problem based questions, for example, I divided it into the facts of the problem, what are the issues, which provision of law is involved, and why am I giving a certain decision in the problem. So I tried to give a very natural flow to the answer, and through my answer, I wanted to convince the examiner that I have understood and I can explain. Because if we write exactly the Bare Act language, many seniors told me that examiner may think that you have only marked up and you're writing the exact provision you have not understood. So through the answer, just make sure that the examiner is impressed, that person is convinced that this person knows the law and is worthy of becoming a judge. So in the mains, your answer writing has to be of that kind. You can go for a mock test series somewhere if you have mentors to guide you, or you can even ask me or any other person who has qualified personally. So uh, this kind of strategy of writing answers is important. So if someone can help you and if you can write all your answers in this way, I think that will impress the examiner and it will help you score good marks. And about the syllabus, there is nothing to worry. Like I was also thinking that how am I going to wrap up everything, but it will happen if you just go through the past papers, shortlist the important topics, and go through the same thing over and over again. You can even make a flip copy if you have time, like just the provision, ingredients, and two case laws, like this, if you make for every subject, and just go through it over and over again as many times as you can. If your concepts are clear and if you can memorize the important things this way, I think you will be able to write all the answers, all the questions that will be asked, you can address in the exam. It won't be a problem. Everyone thinks that the syllabus is huge, but it will get streamlined. Just shortlist important topics, do the past year questions, and master your answer writing skills. You can definitely do it. For general knowledge and Bengali English, I couldn't devote much time. I would say that for that, keep 1 hour for language, 1 hour for GK current affairs, maybe. GK current affairs, no one can answer all. You have to just study as much as you can, and then and you can attempt as many questions as you know. Like out of 50, I think I got something between 25 to 30 in Group B in general knowledge. The long answers I could write, but in the one liners, no one can answer all, so nothing to worry. Just language papers, uh, try to answer them properly because that can be a game changer. Law, everyone is going to study thoroughly. Language papers, people ignore. So if you can score well in language, you can be ahead of others by a few marks. And general knowledge, there is nothing to worry. Everyone thinks that it is very vast and no one can answer all questions. I think general knowledge, if you keep a track of whatever is happening around, and static GK, you will get decent marks. Nothing to worry if you can't answer all in the hall, but in language, try to do it very well because Many people will ignore that, and in language papers, if you already score more, you will have a higher chance of qualifying, and law papers should be your strong points. In general knowledge and interview, no one knows what will come, but in law papers, you know what is the syllabus, you have past papers, so if you're thorough with that, you will be good to go. And answer writing skills are important, just master that as well before mains, and time management too. I had a problem in time management, so that is also very crucial for mains.
Yes, Surya. So I was about to ask you about your time management skills. How did you manage your time? Though you have already mentioned that you faced issues managing time, we all face that. But for WBJS or for judiciary preparation, how much time did you devote and what was your daily schedule?
Ma'am, do you want me to share my study schedule?
Yes, you can just share your study schedule, like daily, how much time did you devote to studies and how you took up revision also while studying another subject.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I never had a very proper routine. I know people make timetable and do it that way. Somehow I made timetables and then couldn't stick to it. So I think it depends, it varies from person to person. In my case, I was doing LLM, so a whole day I couldn't devote. I could devote, let's say, around 5 6 hours initially, and then a bit more before exams. Before exams, it got extended to 7 8 to maximum 10 hours. I don't think that I've studied more than that because I couldn't concentrate for so long. And for preparation, I think your quality will count more than the quantity of time. So even 1 hour of solid preparation is better than 15 16 hours of uh, hard work without smart work. So I basically did each subject like one by one. I started, I completed. With the major subjects, I started CPC, CRPC, and along with that, I did Hindu law, Muslim law, and smaller subjects on the side. So, 2 3 subjects at a time, I did maximum, not more than that. I couldn't memorize more than that. So, for law, I studied 5 6 hours and then maybe 2 more hours for uh, GK current affairs and English and Bangla. This is how I did. For preparation, somehow you will be able to manage time. In some subjects, you will see that you are requiring more time. In some subjects, you will require less time. So, for 8 to 10 months, if you study for 5 6 hours a day, I think it is sufficient. Like everyone may not be free at the same time. Some may be studying or maybe going to court. They will study only in the evening and night. Some people stay fully at home. They will be able to study in the mornings as well, and then maybe after studying until the evening, they will not be able to concentrate any further. So, different people have different schedules and different ways of managing time, but overall 5 6 hours a day for 8 to 10 months should be fine. For major subjects, you will need more time. For smaller subjects, you will not need much time. Like for partnership, I completed it in 1 week or so, but in CPC, I took around 2 3 months to understand everything. So depends on the volume of the subjects and what are your strong points. In my case, CPC was not my strong point. CRPC, IPC, I was more comfortable with. For some people, it can be the opposite. Maybe CPC is something that they are good at, but for CRPC, they may require a lot more time. So that will vary from candidate to candidate, but just make sure that uh, before your exams, you have done all the important topics from the past papers and you have solved the past 30-year papers as well. So if you do that, that should be fine. And for answer writing, again, time management is important in the hall because in Calcutta University, we had to answer 80 marks in 3 hours. Here it was 100 marks in 3 hours, and every question had smaller parts. So it was quite difficult. I tried to complete around 10 marks in 15 minutes. I timed myself that way that for 10 marks, I will not give more than 15 minutes. so that I complete on time, because in the hall you will have to draw margins, tie your papers, they will come to collect your signatures again and again. For every loose sheet, you have to sign yourself, ask your invigilator to sign as well, otherwise, it may get cancelled. So, for this, you will lose some time in the hall. So, around 15 minutes for 10 marks should be fine. I think time yourself that way. I would say practice writing as much as you can so that your speed is improved. In our generation, we type more, we write less. Like in Bengali, I can type very well, but for writing, I saw that my speed got reduced. After school, I did not write Bengali. I had Bengali in school in class 10 for the last time. And then in 11, 12, and college, I never wrote Bengali much. And then I was not able to manage time while practicing mocks. So for Bengali, I wrote as much as I can so that my speed is improved and I can complete the paper in the hall. So for increasing your writing speed, practice is the only key. Just practice as much as you can and make sure you complete your paper on time. Like 3 hours you will get, but try to complete it in 2.5 to uh, 2 hour 45 minutes. Just try to complete it within that, because the remaining time you will need for revising the paper and doing the other formalities in the hall. They will not give any extra time for that. So just time yourself while writing answers, practice as much as you can, and try not to repeat points or explain something unnecessarily. There will be a time crunch, so include all the important points. Just make sure that all the important points are included, and you should do that within 15 minutes if the marks allotted is 10. So this way, if you do, you will be able to manage time in the hall. Basically, more number of points and less time, that is the key. My seniors also told me that you have to include maximum content in the least amount of time, so that you will be able to do only through repeated practice. And just time yourself while writing mock papers, or if you practice answers at home, just see if you are completing it on time. Try to increase your speed and get your answers checked by someone to see if you have covered all the important points and if the writing skill is good. Because law papers everyone will study, basically over there within that limited time you have to give the best kind of answer. So this is something that you have to master. And for study schedule, I will not say anything specific which everyone has to follow strictly. It will vary from person to person, but just make sure you give as much time as required for each subject, and just use the time properly. Like, I have seen people studying for 15, 16 hours just for the sake of it. Maybe they can't remember so much, they can't concentrate so much, but still they are sitting with the books thinking that this is the minimum time that I have to devote. It is not like that. If you are doing quality study for a lesser amount of time, and then if you are not able to concentrate, don't do it any further. Revise something, or study GK for that day. So I would say that for during your preparation, just see what are your strong points. For those subjects you will not need much time. If there is something which you have forgotten, you need to study again, give more time towards that. So this will vary from candidate to candidate, but just make sure that before the exams you are thorough with all the important topics. If that you can ensure, you will definitely be able to answer any question that is asked in the exam.
Thank you so much, Surya. That was a very detailed and insightful session with you. Also, I would like to ask you, how far was Law Seeko's mock interviews beneficial to you?
Yes, ma'am. Lawsico's interview and judiciary course material was really helpful for me. Like initially, I also thought that the books are so vast and so voluminous, how to cover everything. But in Lawsico's judiciary course, I saw the important areas and the PDFs were quite concise. So those helped me a lot to understand which are the important areas, and what exactly I need to focus on. For general knowledge, also, Lossico's PDFs were very good because in the magazines it is difficult to understand what to study, what to not study. In the PDFs, everything was very nicely written, and those were concise. The one-liner PDF, those helped me a lot, and particularly the interview part, I was very scared of. Even my seniors and teachers know that I was very scared initially. I thought that if I go to the interview hall and then if I see that I can answer nothing, what will happen? So Lossico's mock interviews basically helped me come out of that fear. Initially, I thought that the interview is going to be scary, they are going to scold us, ask tough questions, but in Lossico's mock interview, the panelists were really nice and warm. They always said encouraging things, even when I could not answer something. Instead of saying anything negative, they tried to help me after the session. They told me what the correct answer would be. And that was really encouraging. Basically, I thought that what if I feel nervous? What if I feel scared in the actual interview? But that fear is something that I could get over only because of these mock interview sessions. And the panelists were really helpful. I think one of them is an ex judge, another person appeared in the interview in some other state before. So those sessions were really insightful. And during the sessions also certain questions were asked, like bill related questions, fundamental rights related questions, writ related questions, which came in my actual interview as well. And even in the actual interview, the Honorable Justice and the panelists were really nice, really warm. They did not say anything negative, anything scary. They were absolutely amicable, even when we could not answer something. But before that, in the mock interview also, since the panelists were really good, I was not scared. Otherwise I would have been even more scared during my actual interview, and out of nervousness maybe I would have made mistakes. But these interviews helped me a lot because nervousness and stress, these are my weak points. I always thought that these are going to stop me in the interview, but after mock interviews, these were no more an issue for me, and I could face the actual interview properly. And I'm really grateful to the panelists. They took out a lot of time. Even after the session, they used to tell me like how to speak, how my facial expression should be, how my tone should be ideally in the interview. And even when I couldn't answer something, instead of scolding, instead of saying anything pessimistic, they always encouraged me to recall and answer. They helped me with the correct answer after the session, which I noted down, revised before my actual interview. So those interviews have been really of very much help to me. And this was my first job interview. Since I was a judiciary aspirant, I did not appear for any other job interview before. And in judiciary also, this is my very first attempt. So I did not even know what an interview will be like. But Lawsico's interview actually helped me feel comfortable about the interview and be comfortable during the actual interview. And I feel that without these interviews, I would not have done well in the actual interview. So I'm really, really grateful to Team Losico, everyone who was there to help me, and all the panelists who were there. They were of immense help, and I will definitely recommend Losico's interview sessions to other aspirants as well, because interview is something that everyone is very scared of. So that is a myth. After appearing in Losico's interviews, I understood that it is a myth that interviews are scary. They are not. If you are well prepared, you will do well. So I'm really grateful for building my confidence and helping me prepare. Do convey my regards and thanks to the panelists as well after this session.
Thank you so much, Surya. It was uh, a privilege to have you with us and to hold mock interviews for you. Coming to the questions which many of the viewers have posted on the chat box, but mostly you have answered. Did Lossy Code notes helped you in the mains? So Surya has repeatedly said that yes. Surya, do you want to add something?
No, ma'am, I have already said the notes were of immense help because all the textbooks are very voluminous. Every candidate thinks that how to cover everything. So the notes were really nice, and those were accompanied with mock questions as well. Those really helped me a lot, like how to strategize, what to study, what not to study. That idea I got from those notes in the judiciary course portal.
And Pallavi has asked if you can share your strategy regarding covering syllabus, which you have again explained in detail. Pallavi, you can
Strategy
watch
regarding what, ma'am?
regarding covering the syllabus.
Okay,
How
syllabus everyone is scared of, but you will be able to cover it, don't worry.
Aradhana has same question, ma'am. Could you please tell that Losico notes and classes were enough to you for clearing exam?
Yes, it was, but self study is also very important because in any tuition or coaching, same topics will not be repeated again and again. You may have recorded classes, but you have to also keep preparing and revising something that has already been taught or something that you have already studied. Self work is also very important. Don't depend on any tuition like a crutch. Just take the notes, take the classes, and keep revising on your own. Because from the same coaching centers, some clear, some don't. So it is a lot about your self work as well.
True. Thank you. Guru has again asked, okay, notes. Okay. So Guru is asking about Losico notes again and again. So yes, she has already discussed about that, Guru. Um,
Yes,
Apart
ma'am.
from that,
Losicos classes and notes are quite enough. But you should also keep preparing and writing answers on your own. Listen to the classes again and again, or read the same notes again and again. That revision from your side is also very important.
true. Uh, so Surya, today this afternoon was a very good, it was a very productive afternoon for us because we would chat with Surya Sikha, who has got rank 5 in WBJS, and wishing you all the best, Surya, for your
Thank you
future.
so much, ma'am.
May God bless you with good health, success, happiness, prosperity in this new chapter of your life as a judge. We are very proud of your result. So well done, Surya. Congratulations once again.
And thank you so much for all your help, support, and guidance.
Thank you. Before you leave Surya, Neha has just posted a question. How do you manage LLM studies and judiciary preparation together?
Yes, LLM, I did a 2 year LLM where the coursework is lesser than 1 year LLM. So, if you are an LLM candidate as well, you can go to college in the morning and then maybe in the evening and night you can study. Or in our university, college starts at 10. So, before that, in the morning, you can wake up and early morning you can study. LLM will actually help in judiciary. I took crime and tort, and this time in criminal law, tough questions were asked, jurisprudential questions were asked in CRPC. Even in the interview, they asked me questions from LLM. So it will help. And another thing I would say that during judiciary preparation, students feel very confused and there are feelings of insecurity that what if this doesn't happen, what is plan B. If you are doing an LLM, you will know that you have a plan B. You can go to academia or something, or you can do something with your LLM degree. So mentally also you will not feel so insecure. You will know that okay, there is a plan B. If judiciary happens, fine. If not, I have a plan B. So this mental security also LLM gave me. That is why I took up the course. And you can manage both. If someone is working, it might be difficult because in court there is a lot of work, and then most seniors want you to attend chamber in the evenings. But in college, you will be free by 4 or 5. After that, you can utilize the evening, and even in the morning, you can study if your college starts late. In our case, it starts not before 10, so in the morning, I could study. So you will be able to manage both. Shouldn't be a problem. And LLM syllabus will actually help you if you're doing LLM in any of the fields where you have common papers with judiciary. It will help you in judiciary as well.
And there is one more question, Surya. Is practicing
Yes, ma'am.
compulsory in interview, and did they ask any questions regarding practice in interview?
No, ma'am, practice is not compulsory because the minimum age is 23, and just after your graduation and enrollment you can appear. So practice is absolutely not compulsory as per the notification. And even the honorable judges know that no one is a pro in practice here. Even if you have practiced, maybe you went with some senior for 1 or 2 years. So uh, practicing is not compulsory, or it is not that if someone has practice experience they will get more marks in the interview. It is absolutely not like that. In my case, the honorable justice asked me that, have you joined anybody's chamber? Are you practicing? Now, if you say yes, they can ask you questions like what matters does your senior do, and in what matters did you assist your senior, what did you learn from there, or what is going to happen in such and such situation in court. These will be asked only if you say that you have practiced. If not, they will not ask such questions. In my case, I did LLM till 2023 and I did not have any time to practice because with one course and judiciary syllabus, I couldn't go to court. So I told them that I have not practiced, I am not attached to anybody's chamber, and they did not ask me any practice related questions. And no one has practiced, like, I won't say no one, but among the people that I know who have cracked, among them, no one was practicing. Even the topper this time was in academia. She is doing a PhD. She was also not practicing. So it is not that people who have practiced will get more marks or something. Just be honest. If you have practiced, then only you can tell them. If not, tell them that you haven't, and then I'm sure that they will not ask you difficult questions from practice. And if you don't know something, just admit it, just own up to it, not a problem. Justices will know a lot about courts and practice related things which we were not supposed to know. We are very young, we have just graduated, so just tell them that apologies, sir, I have no experience in this regard, or I cannot recall, I am not aware. There is no harm in saying this. This is a personality test, your knowledge test has already been done in the mains. So, an honest person is someone who will be preferred by you also. Just be honest if practice based questions are asked. If you know, answer them. Otherwise, tell them that you don't know. Or if you have not practiced, tell them that you haven't practiced. So, it is a myth that only those who have practiced will do well. It is absolutely not like that. So, with that, you need not worry.
Thank you, Surya. Congratulations once again, and to other aspirants who are willing to pitch for the exam or any state exam. I would just like to tell you, keep believing in yourself. As Surya said, be honest and keep working hard. Taste failures but restart. And a small disclaimer that you have to understand, every student has a different strategy, every state has a different pattern, people are having different journey and situation and experiences, so you can customize this accordingly with your own situation. So whatever Surya has told is relating to WBJS, but any state you are preparing for, you can apply the same strategy and you can just customize it accordingly. Thank you so much, Surya, for coming. We had a
Thank you
wonderful
so
hour.
much for having me, ma'am.
Thank.
And all the
Yes, Surya, you were saying something.
yes, ma'am. I said all the best to the aspirants who have joined.
Thank you. Thank you so much.